Chapter 1127 was a slow build-up to a big climax. It started with one character, confused and trying to survive, and took us to a big action set piece. And funnily enough, the paneling of the chapter follows that same progression. It begins with subtle tricks to direct attention and manage information, and ends with one of those huge action spreads that Oda's so legendary at. So let's break down the full range of what made Chapter 1127's paneling so clever. If there's one paneling technique that's the star of the chapter, it's how it frames tight panels to show what a character is focused on and imply what they're not focused on. For example, while Nami is lost in a mysterious Lego castle, she hears Usopp and looks his way, but the wall blocks out what's behind her and below her. This gives the feeling that she isn't thinking about where she steps. We're as surprised as she is when she trips. That panel is hidden in a corner, matching how tripping feels. Your attention is yanked away to a spot you thought you could ignore. Next, the motion of the eye matches how she falls. And again, she's looking down, so we don't see what's above her. This gives us a clever transition into the next page. For us to see what she sees when she looks up, we have to look up too, which is sadly lost if you're reading vertically on your phone. As Nami flees the hedgehog, she runs into a ledge, but the framing hides what's below. By hiding that, this panel conveys the instant in time where she's physically there, but hasn't yet processed what she's seeing. This lets it use the question-answer progression I've talked about in a lot of other videos. What she saw is Usopp getting eaten by a cat, but how the panel shows that is more complicated than it might seem. On one hand, we want to see Usopp first, then Nami. That's the order of cause and effect. It wouldn't be intuitive if we saw Nami's reaction before the thing that caused it. So the obvious move is to put Usopp at the top right because that's where you start a panel. But Nami is looking down on Usopp. Not only do we have to respect the physical positions, but we also want it to feel like we're looking down on Usopp with her, which might not happen if he was in the top right. As you can already see, the solution was to put Usopp down low and draw the eye up to Nami using the cat's smile and the curve of the Lego block. Simple, but very deliberate. It's not a real Werb video if we don't talk about aligning motion with the eye, and Nami's fall is a perfect example. After moving left to reach her, the entire panel is telling your eye to go diagonally toward the next panel. The speech bubble, the sound effects, and even the angle of the background. Usopp and the cat are placed on that path just to ensure we see them on the way and know where they are. The eye direction matches not just how Nami falls in the next panel, but the path she took to get there. Physical layout, page composition, the path of motion, and the path of the eye are all working in harmony. It even does it again when the hedgehog falls right after her and shocks the cat. But that doesn't save them. Nami and Usopp still have to run. We get another moment where the framing directs motion, as Nami remembers what started this trouble. Good thinking, Nami, but getting caught up in your memories means running straight into a parapet because you weren't looking in front of you. Again, it's the instant where they've processed that they've run into something, but not the full sight in front of them. That comes next page, where they see the long drop. Quick note before we talk about the climax. As usual, there's tons of cool paneling that I don't have time to dig into. So if you want to read the full analysis of everything I'm skipping over, it's just a couple bucks a month to be a patron or a channel member. Now on to the finale. The cat, which is now a lion, attacks Nami from the right. Nami shuts her eyes, shutting out the world, trying not to think about the deadly threat in front of her, which is why the panel cuts it off. But the knuckleheads are here, coming from the right, behind the lion, showing they're unexpected. It always helps clarity when the positions on the page match the positions in world, and not just horizontally, but vertically. Each of the monster trio is, directionally, attacking from their close-up panel. That clarity is useful when three characters are moving in three different ways in one panel. This arrangement also matches their fighting styles. Sanji often does hammer kicks from above, while Zoro is usually on the ground after a sword slash. And Luffy, well, he attacks from all kinds of directions, so there's nothing wrong with this one. Shapes and contrast help their attacks stand out. Sanji makes a dent in the lion's black crown. Luffy uses a circular, haki-infused Gear 4 attack, and Zoro's blades are black and slash along these curved lines. But the overall shape of the panel is a big curve pointing left, from the lion's body to Zoro's sword. We might have attacked from three directions, but this shape gives the impression of a huge blunt force knocking the lion to the side, which is exactly what's happening. Even the panel border is leaning over from the impact. Luffy literally learned Gear 4 to handle giant animals, and clearly it works, and it gave us a banger action page to cap off our intro to Elbaf. so I can't wait to see what kind of paneling we get, from subtle framing to epic action when the arc actually gets crazy.